Hello everybody. I know I'm only almost an 18-year-old. Got this noodle because I'm going to be bashing some heads with it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm 17, almost 18. And immediately, I've held off on doing more of these because I did one with the atheist voice. I had my friend with me. And I did the why I left Catholicism response, because even though she's talking about Catholicism, I thought it was still relevant, so I talked about it. She was about my age. She was just like a year or two older. It's weird when you try to do somebody who's older than you, because then immediately anybody that watches the response is going to go, well, this is a kid. I don't care what he has to say. I don't care about his opinion. He's a kid. What does he know, right? So that stigma that I'm a kid, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm an ignorant child, he needs to shut his mouth, immediately causes somebody to not respect me or think that I have logical reasons for believing what I do. Because not everybody knows my backstory. I mean, I don't have like a sad one or anything. What the crap? Apologize. I'm real quick just gonna mention that I'm a Christian, of course, so I'm making a response to this video. I know it's an old one too. I know she's still making videos about how God sucks and stuff like that, but yeah, I was not raised in a religious home. I mean, I'm still living in a home, but I was not raised religiously. On my mom's side, they're Catholic. My mom never raised me Catholic. She never made me read the Bible. None of that. I never grew up in that setting. And my dad, I would say, I don't know. He doesn't really give out that information, but I'd say he's probably either atheist or hardcore agnostic. I know that kind of gets mixed around now because atheists seem to say that atheist is just a lack of belief, but it's not. It's saying that God doesn't exist. That's the original meaning of the word. Agnosticism is I don't know. But I'm not going to. That's a different conversation. I made friends in middle school. And one of them was Christian. He asked me to start going. I only went to spend more time with him. I could care less about the church or anything about that. I didn't really care. I believed in something because my mom also felt the same in that way, in that aspect. I didn't believe in a Christian God or anything. I was just like, yeah, there's something more. Just because this world is beautiful, and I don't know. I felt like I didn't know what it was. I didn't pray or anything. I just thought there was something out there. But I never did anything with that. That was as far as I went with it. But I didn't. I just lived my life. So then I started going to church more often, and eventually came to Christ. But I constantly seeked knowledge, and I didn't want to follow lies, so I watched a bunch of atheists like Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, but then I also watched a lot of apologists too, like J. Warner Wallace and John C. Lennox, or Ravi Zachariah, and I could name off more, but those are just a few. And I constantly watch debates. I still do. I constantly watch debates. I constantly read Christian and atheist articles. I constantly watch atheist videos, like this one that I'm going to be reacting to today. And I just try everything I can to know truth, because I don't want to follow a lie. But the more I study, the more I get to know, and I'm sure they would say the same thing, but for me, it just enhances the fact that I believe in God. That I believe in the Christian God, that Jesus died and rose again, and that we can have eternal life with Him. Because the more I study, I cannot logically see how it's false. I hear the arguments. I'm going to hear the arguments she makes. And maybe she'll convince me. Maybe she'll be the one to tell me this is false. But time and time again, the arguments I find are rather weak. And I know you're going to reverse that in the comment section and go, well, all the arguments you make are weak. Fair enough. But I'm just trying to be real with you and say that I don't see any coherent, logical argument that would deny, again, that stacks against the evidence for the resurrection, or anything like that. But that's what a bunch of the videos are for. let me actually get into it, because this is already a long intro. I always do this. This is Disproving Christianity. Jesus is Alive by Jacqueline Glenn. I know she's very famous. For a while, even though I was Christian, I was really into the skeptic community, because I liked hearing what they had to say, even though I highly disagreed with it. I just liked watching it, and I found Blair White, who is transgender, which again I disagree with, but the person himself, I don't have any beef with them. They seem like really cool people. I just disagree with their decision to do it. But anyway, she made a video with her a couple times, and that's how I found about her. And now I just kind of just don't watch it, because at this point they're saying the same thing over and over and over again. And now it's more about politics than it is about God. And I get that on the news. If I want politics, I'll read about it. But I don't know. I just between school and everything, I want some happiness, not constant arguing and saying how much that person's retarded. I hope not to do that with her, and I hope I don't get any of those comments. I mean, if you do, whatever. You want to be a jerk, fine. I want to have an intelligent conversation in the comments or whatever in this video. So yeah, I'm going to start a video. We're going to see how that goes, and yeah, I'm excited to see what she has to say.
Hey guys, so today I want to make a video disproving Christianity. By far, the biggest question that I get from people is asking me to prove to them that there's no God, which is an impossible thing to ask for somebody to do, because it's impossible to disprove a negative.
So I'm talking about, you can't disprove the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus or anything like that. Well, actually, you can disprove Santa Claus very easily. So, but there's this constant argument that's like, well, you can't disprove this because it's a negative. And I don't know. It's just it's really, I hear it all the time, and I find it interesting that every single person says that, because it's like, yeah, you can't disprove a negative, but at the same time, we're not claiming something that is like out of the reach for you to know. We're saying that it's something that you can verify and testify. You can testify. It's not a word. That you can verify or falsify. Not scientifically, mind you. I think science points to a designer, not necessarily Christianity's designer, but some sort of deity must exist, at least from what I've seen. But I mean, the historical documents, like, those can be verified or falsified, and time again, at least from my, learning about it, constantly, like, people bring up Horus. He's just a copycat of Horus. He's not. Osiris. He's not. That's my short answer. If you want a longer video on that, go check out my good boy, my big friend, Mad Love. I'll leave a link in the description. Much more witty and funny guy than I am. But, I constantly hear that, and it's like, we're not trying to talk about a negative. I mean, we're talking about something that can be tested, at least in terms of history. Because that's what it comes down to. That's the foundation of Christianity. If Jesus didn't rise from the dead, then Christianity is false. I'm a fool for talking to you. And that's what you think. That's fine. And if you show me the body, not just some crucified victim, like, you know for a fact, 100%, that body is Jesus, I will drop my faith. No, I want to follow truth. So if you showed me that Jesus was still here on earth, I would gladly drop it. Without a doubt. I would join her on her crusade of destroying Christianity and showing how false it is. I would join her. Hasn't happened. In 2,000 years, we have never once found any scrap of Jesus' remains. And it isn't because he was moved around by the apostles, which already most thinking scholars can already know that the apostles were sincere and that they didn't steal the body. That's why they had to go to this stupid hallucination theory, which just falls flat in so many areas. But that's another video for another time. The point being is, I will follow truth wherever it leads me. If you can show me, really, not necessarily proof that God doesn't exist, because you're right, you can't prove that, just like I can't 100% prove that God does exist. But you can show me evidence upon evidence upon evidence that makes it more and more incoherent to believe in God. But from the evidence I've seen them try to present so far, time and time again, it ends up being really weak. Anyway, let her continue what she wants to say.
But this video I want to kind of aim at everyone, Christians, non-Christians, people on the fence, everyone, so that you guys can get an idea of where I'm coming from and why I'm not a Christian anymore. A lot of it is the same reasons. I mean, I have a whole list of things that I've written out here, and like I said, I want to make this a nice video. But first of all, you know, you can't prove there's no God, like I said, you can't prove that there's no fairies, but people have also asked me to prove that atheism is true. Now, first of all, I want to clarify really quick that atheism is not a religion, it's the lack of a religion. And unfortunately, people who are atheists have to be put in a category based off of other people's beliefs. You know, like I'm also an a-fairist. I'm also, you know, I'm just an a-monsterist. I don't believe in things that are supernatural. So I'm a everything, I suppose. I mean, everyone is technically, this is a famous quote, everyone's technically an atheist for every other religion except for their own. Like, why don't you believe in Zeus? Why don't you believe in Thor? Why don't you believe in, you know, flying spaghetti monster, etc.? I mean, people don't believe in any other religion except for their own, so atheists are said to just take it one step further.
Perfect video for this. What do you mean? Go check out that channel. I love that guy. So, I'm an atheist in all gods except for the Christian God, right? Sure. But that whole thing about you just go one God further than me, that's assuming that I haven't thought it out, that I haven't questioned time and time and time and time and time again. Because if we're judging it based on how people actually perceive it and how they get to that point, then I can give you list upon list upon list upon list upon list of why I follow Christianity, that I will tell you the people who followed Zeus would not have had, for a fact. So if we're comparing it based on that, it's not a good comparison. I don't believe in those other gods because I don't see any proof for them. I don't even see any logical arguments for them. Nobody argues about Zeus anymore. Nobody. You know, I like holiness. If I heard a logical, coherent argument for it, I would be open to listening. I never turn down a conversation about this sort of thing, whether it be an atheist, a Muslim, a Jew, a Catholic, whatever. I want to talk. I want to get to know you. Because I love conversations like this. I thrive on conversations like this. I absolutely love talking to people with other views. I love it. It fascinates me. It invigorates me with such... It's one of the greatest pleasures I get, is just being able to talk to other people about anything. I love talking to people. I love getting to know people's perspectives and views and seeing if it holds weight. But no, check out What Do You Meme's video responding to Ricky Gervais or whatever his name is. The guy that was on not the museum, because I'm a young squirt. He was like the manager there or whatever. But he's a comedian, and he made a couple things about, he made a couple jokes about, you know, God and stuff. But What Do You Meme? I'll leave a link in the description. He made a good couple videos on that, so you should go check that out. And yeah, I can't explain it better than he did in such a quick and snappy way. That's why I'm just saying, go to him. But anyway, continue, please. I'm enjoying it so far.
A lot of people make videos like this. They try to disprove Christianity by pointing out all the negative things that they see in the Bible. Like they point out the bigotry and the hate and the misogyny and quotes about homosexuals are, you know, the worst thing ever, and how, you know, rape is okay. And they...
Before I even continue, rape is not condoned. Please show me one verse where it is. It is not condoned. Ever. And I try to stay civil and polite. I don't want to be mean to anyone. But that is absolute baloney. Rape has never been condoned and never will be condoned in the Bible. God does not condone rape. If rape has happened in the Bible, it is because we men, we broken humans, abused our free will and hurt and ruined a woman. But that is on humans. Nothing to do with him. As for sexism, God has never been sexist. Men have, for sure. Men have been super sexist. I'm not going to deny it. We as men, we suck. Luckily, we've come a long way. But God has always seen men and women as equal. Always, always, always He has. You just look to Genesis when He created Eve from Adam, which I heard my history teacher once last year say that that was somehow supposed to mean that the man was better, which was absolute BS, and he showed no evidence for why that makes sense. No, it meant that they were complete and utter equals. And as to the other stuff she said, I've heard it all before, and I'm sure she'll get further into that in the video. I'll deal with that if it comes to it. But, yeah, it irritated me, that little thing real quick. Even though I know she's being positive, that's why I'm not. But yeah, just continue, Jack.
And then, that's often countered by Christians by saying, well, there's also a lot of good things in the Bible, but they like to cherry pick, and they don't focus on the contradictions. They don't focus on the negative things because they say Jesus is there and Jesus is good, and the Old Testament isn't so relevant. But
that's another thing that I heard in the Why I Left Catholicism, that the Old Testament isn't relevant. It's super relevant. Super, super relevant. People that say that the Old Testament isn't relevant, I'm sorry, but they're not educated and they don't know what they're talking about. The Old Testament is very important. In fact, it actually increases the New Testament and the validity in some of the things, like in the prophecies and whatnot. She said cherry picking. I'd just like to add, perhaps you're cherry picking. Just a bit. Yeah, she makes it seem as if, I have just, I love Jesus and I'm ignoring all the other stuff. No. I went to atheist videos after I found stuff that was seemingly sexist, till I studied it further. Also, their answers still didn't satisfy me. But anyway, I know she hasn't even really gotten into her points yet, but she's just throwing this out there as if it's fact, which it isn't. But
verifies everything in the Old Testament, and also there's no such thing as hell really until you get to the New Testament. So everybody who sits there and says that the New Testament is this like warm and fuzzy thing, it's not necessarily true, because that's where hell kind of started, and that's not the most, maybe warm but not exactly fuzzy thing.
Alright, hell has always existed. But yeah, it was mentioned in the New Testament. And real quick, because everybody harps on the burning in hell. Oh yeah, and right. That's what I wanted to get to that I forgot about. She mentioned the gays are the worst. Never, ever, 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 ever. And I'm sorry for raising my voice. Does it say that being gay is the worst thing ever? First off, if you are gay, God loves you. He doesn't like the people. He doesn't like how you feel about others, but He doesn't hate you. Just like maybe you have a family member that's Republican and you don't like that very much. You can disagree on that and not necessarily hate the person as an individual. My mom and dad aren't religious, and I am. And sometimes that causes turmoils. But my mother will never stop loving me because we disagree on a lot of things. So the idea that God, for some reason, hates you because He disagrees with the way you live is absurd. And yes, I know she's when she's talking about that stuff, she specifically is thinking about Westboro Baptist Church. But I have to tell you, that is not biblical Christianity. You can't judge religion based on its abuses, but on what it originally teaches. God teaches that I am the one to judge. If somebody's throwing stones at a gay person, beating them because they're gay, then they're not Christian. I have gay family members in my family who I would take a bullet to the heart for if the need ever arose. Do I agree with how they live? No. But do I love them? Hell yes. So her saying that, I'm sorry, but it just really got to me. Because I have quite a few gay people in my family. And I love them with all my heart. And that's the thing about hell. Because people always talk about, hey, good God, send people to hell. But if God wasn't just, then yeah, hell wouldn't be needed. But there's this whole mentality in the world today that we're perfect just the way we are. But we're not. We are broken. You have all harmed someone else in the past. Maybe not physically. You've done something emotionally mean to someone else. That one thing alone, you stealing a cookie at 3 years old, you stole something. Stealing is wrong. We deserve to suffer. If you went to a jury trial and a man raped a poor innocent little girl, would that not mean he needs to go to jail? But it's different because I don't rape kids. So therefore, my little wrongs don't matter. Because I'm better than Hitler. That's what I hear a lot. I'm better than Hitler. At least I'm not Hitler. At least I'm not Stalin. At least I'm not a rapist. At least I'm not a murderer. At least. But you still have done wrong. You even acknowledge it. We are all broken. There's not a religion in the world that doesn't agree that something is wrong with us. The question is, what is it? And how do we fix it? And I would like to propose today, during this video, that answer is Jesus. Anyway, please continue, Jacqueline.
Yeah, but what